strong, independent, and a boss lady. This is Julia, and I dare you to tune in to find out how to accomplish these words from our guest herself only on this episode of Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. Hey, it's me, your host, Julia, and welcome to another episode of Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. There you have it, you guys. Welcome for those who just arrived and tuned into our podcast today. I can't wait today. I'm so hyped up because I also ate my egg noodles or Filipino egg noodles today, or the pancit canton that for those who don't know about that. Yeah, I'm really happy about the food that I ate today. And of course, I'm totally excited to introduce to you our special and lovely guest for today's podcast episode. As she's mentioned earlier, she is a social media manager. And of course, let's give a warm welcome to our awesome, gorgeous virtual assistant as our guest. Let's welcome Miss MJ. Hi, MJ. How are you doing?
Hi, Miss Julia. I'm doing great. Yeah, thank you for
That's
having me
awesome.
here.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for accepting. Yeah, we're so excited about your journey and all of those stuff about you, of course. But of course, yeah, I want to ask first. Please do hoot your own horn. Please do introduce yourself. Where are you from? What were you doing before you were a virtual assistant? All of those things you want to share. Anything you want to put on the table.
Yes, by the way, my name is Mary Joy Manda and I'm from Davao City. I've been a virtual assistant for like almost 3 years, like starting the pandemic. So I started as a VA. So I quit my job as a teacher. So yeah, after those struggles, so after I quit my job as a teacher, so I went to as a like a online teacher. So and then there I had those jobs that I've been a cold caller. So and then I just started up like 3 months for that client, and then ended up another client, and then 3 months again. So I'm so happy that with my client here in Sphere Rocket, so I've been with her for 1 year and a half. So I'll be in 2 years next year. So and yeah, I'm so glad that I've been part of Sphere Rocket.
Awesome. That's great. That's great to know about your journey, how you met Spherocket and all of that. I'm very curious, not all the online teachers get to become a virtual assistant. And I'm very curious about that kind of job background before. What kind of subject were you teaching, if you don't mind asking?
I'm teaching all of the subjects in elementary level.
Oh, that's cute. So you are very well oriented and well versed with children and all of that stuff. Yeah, that's so great. What shifted? I mean, why did you think that you would change a certain job position like that? I mean, yeah.
Because during the pandemic, so I have my little child with me. So
Mm-hmm.
he's I think months old. So I decided to give up my job because I'm
Mm-hmm.
so afraid, like especially for those viruses that I'll be
Mm-hmm.
bringing to my young children. So I have that at that time my son is was 5 months old, and my daughter was 2 years old. So yeah, and then I gave up. I I didn't expect that I'll be a virtual assistant after I quit teaching. So yeah, I just applied to as a virtual assistant. So I started with a low rate, and then as a cold caller. So yeah.
Awesome. That's great. Actually, yeah, pandemic did became a very big impact to everybody. A lot of shift in their lives had happened. But do you
Yeah.
think that if pandemic didn't happen, do you think are you still going to be that teacher that you were once were?
Yes, maybe. But it's a blessing in disguise because
Uh-huh.
since I became a VA, I was able to take care of my children because and now they are more healthier than being a teacher before. So I'm not hands on to them, so they are like, easily sick.
Mhm.
But when I work at home, so yeah, I they are now healthy and just seldom we went to the doctor. And yeah, I it's a blessing in disguise that I became a VA because I was able to manage my own income,
Uh-huh.
even though my husband has his own income as well. So I was able also to buy that it's not I was able to have my car loan. So um
Wow.
it's
Congratulations on
yeah,
that.
it's great blessing for me. So there's a lot of things that I was able to have since I became a VA.
Mhm. Awesome. That's just great, and to think that you're not the only one who's doing it, doing all the hard work. And of course, the source of every finance is, of course, in the family. But you and, of course, your husband is doing all the hard work that you can together, making
Mhm.
it, of course, a teamwork. And that's awesome. That's really great to know. Not everybody has that kind of ability or mindset. Usually, and we talk about standards, the father usually does all the hard work. But I could
Yes.
really tell you're very persevered, you're very dedicated in what you're doing. That's why, and of course, I believe you also want to do really, really productive things. Of course, being a mother as well. So that's
Mhm.
awesome. You're thriving as well on your own, making it a very big impact and a very great example, of course, to not only your children, but of course to the youth that are also watching right now in this podcast episode. So awesome. That's so great. So going back to being a virtual assistant, of course, in your position, what do you think is your daily tasks, and what do you do like with your work?
With Amber Jamanga, I was hired as a real estate cold caller, and
Mhm.
then I was promoted as like she hired again another cold caller. So I've been into admin task. So I'm doing the for now I'm doing the handling his her website, and then Facebook, social media postings, and it's a mix of tasks like in the transaction coordinator in social media, general VA, lead generation. So it's kind of in one.
Awesome. That's just great. And of course, with of many months and years being a virtual assistant, I know that you have developed some skills along the journey, of course. But I want to ask, and I want to, of course, compare and contrast with you being an online teacher beforehand, and now that you've become a virtual assistant. When you compare two jobs, what do you think has gained more skills for you, or what job position did you more fish out a lot of skills? And if yes,
Um,
and if you've chosen one, what do you think are these skills?
I think as a virtual assistant, I never imagined that virtual assistant have its broad. So yeah, I learned a lot, like especially those skills. So I was just trained by my client. So I never imagined that I could do such a thing because in the first place I was hired just only for cold calling, but then now I can like handling websites,
Mhm.
postings, like calendar management, and many more. So it's a kind of like challenging for me because it's not the one that I've like that I studied in college. So it's kind of different. So as a teacher, so it's a kind of different because like it's we have learned that in our college days, and I really love teaching as well. But for now, when I became a VA, I am more in love as a VA.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I totally agree to what you mentioned earlier. When you talk about online teaching, it talks about the academe, it talks about the books, and totally the things you have to relay the certain knowledge that you had when during the years before, when you were also a student as well, of the things that you've learned during that time, book wise, academical wise, academically, talking about that certain perspective, and as well on. But when we talk about being a virtual assistant, it talks about not only the academics, but also the practical things in life. You know, it gives you different choices of being in life as well, and very practical choices
Yeah.
and decision making as well. So that's great.
Mhm.
It helps you grow towards that kind of position, and that's awesome. I'm happy for you. And yeah, thanks for sharing those skills that you developed as well. So, with Sphere Rocket being with you and along the way during before you became a virtual assistant, how did Sphere Rocket impact your life, and as well, how did Sphere Rocket help you find that current role that you have now?
Sphere Rocket is one of the agencies that I really like treasure. So
Mhm.
I was hired here in Sphere Rocket as a cold caller as well. But then my first client in Sphere Rocket, we just ended in 3 months, and then yeah, it's I love here working with Sphere Rocket because there are coaches that are really willing to coach, and then I was able to develop more and then like, after I think 2 months I get another client with, so this is Amber.
Mhm.
So yeah, there are a lot of things that Sphere Rocket I mentioned, but yeah, Sphere Rocket is the best agency that I have so far.
Wow. That's awesome. I love what you mentioned about giving out Sphere Rocket that trophy of being the best agency in your perspective. And
Mm.
yeah, that's totally agreeable and very subjective. So thank you so much for having that keen observation, and how very caring and well taken care of you are in Sphere Rocket. That's awesome. I also want to ask, now that you've been working remotely, I mean, I know you've been working remotely for quite some time, but how has that impacted your work life balance?
Yeah, yeah, it's a kind of it, as a mother, so I can be able to take care of them like
Hmm.
after my shift I just nap for like 1 hour because my husband is taking care of them, feed them, um
Hmm.
and then after my shift in Firaket, so I am the one who's bringing my children to school, so it's quite challenging because I don't have enough sleep, but I just decided to hands on to my kids, so I love and I get used to it. Like being a mom is it's a very time is very important for us. Like we have our bondings now. Like during daytime, I could we could go to the mall. So time is really more important than anything.
Hmm.
So I'm so glad that I work remotely because I could easily walk out, like I could easily go to the mall with my children and then taking care of them at school. I could attend meetings and yeah, I'm the one who's in charge of them in terms of studies.
Awesome. That's great. I totally agree to what you mentioned. And from what I got from you was time is very important. You know, you never know when time is running out. That's why you have to spend time with the people that you love so much, and the people that matter most in your life. And it's good that you have this kind of work life balance. You get to balance the things that you do all at the same time, making importance about everything that you're doing right now, making purpose out of it. And yeah, up top to that, I totally agree on what you've mentioned earlier. And yeah, well, what do you think has been, of course, being a virtual assistant? What do you think has been the most memorable part in your job? It could be good, it could be bad, or highlight or core memory.
The most memorable thing I think when I with my client or this my client Amber, get mad at me. Um,
Mhm.
it's normal as
Mhm.
between VA and client, that there's like instances that you are not agree with each other in something, because even if you know that it's good
Mhm.
for that task, it's um even if you advise that it will be more productive if you do this like that. But then if your client is not go with it, she's not
She
like
disagrees with you.
yes. So the only thing that I learned is that you have to like to please your client, not
Mhm.
your imaginations, not your suggestions. So you only
Uh-huh.
have to suggest, not to insist. So yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. It's great that you handled it that way. So I agree to that. Sometimes, even not between client and VA relationship, even with your co-workers, towards your friends, or to anybody who you socialize with, there are times when you clash perspectives, where you clash ideas, and that's when conflict starts. That's
Yes.
when disagreement starts, because we all think differently. We don't think the same, all of us. We have our different program, because we were developed differently as well. We had different experiences, and with those certain experiences, with those certain growth that each person did develop, they continuously create certain principles and ideas that I think is much better. That's why, when encountering situations like this, as you've mentioned earlier, you just had, either one should really really lower down a certain pride on each one and know each one's value. But yeah, it's really great that you're very submissive with situations like that. And I could really tell how very patient you are when it comes to situations like that you encountered. So very awesome that you've created or decided a certain emotion or decision like that, to just go with the flow and just agree, with whoever it may be, to be conversing with when it comes to certain ideas, suggestions, and all of that. As long as you did your part,
Hmm.
that's great. As long as you lay that on the table, that's awesome. And yeah, maybe that's one of the characteristics that could be an awesome thing, being a virtual assistant, especially um, people who were grown, or people who grew up and being shaped by Sphere Rocket. You become very obedient and submissive and patient and understanding with the client that you have, and of course, knowing that you are matchmake together, that's, I believe, that's a perfect combination. And I know that we will not even prevent situations like this to happen. That's a normal thing. Sometimes you clash ideas, disagreements happen, but you just gotta let go of that and just go with the flow, and just keep a positive outlook in life and a perspective in life, and then basically life goes on. It's just how it is, and that's just basically life. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that experience, Miss MJ. Totally nice and unique experience, if you ask me. So yeah, with the years of experience that you've had so far of being a virtual assistant, what do you think has been the best purchase that you bought so far? Or it could be an achievement, or yeah, all that.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like was able to bring my children to a private school, and then I was able to purchase my own car. Then yeah, a lot. And then now I'm starting to invest for for a gold necklace, gold jewelries, in times in the future when I um
Uh-huh.
need cash, something like that.
Ooh.
So I have investment, a good investment. So yeah, that's a very great achievement that I have.
Awesome. Totally agree to that. The third one, actually, the third material that you mentioned, or the best purchase that you mentioned on the third part, is very unique. There are a lot of people, for those who are watching right now, there are a lot of people who invest in certain items like gold, jewelries, even watches, even cars, even antique items. All of these things could be, you invest in it, And after years and years, it becomes more expensive because it is really a necessity that by the end of when you run out of sources of finances, when you run out of money, those materials that you've invested as well, that you've kept for how many years, those could be just sold just like that, because there are a lot of people in the internet who die for to get to buy those certain items, even in
Mm.
eBay. I mean, I don't know if we're allowed to disclose certain websites, but those items that you put online and then they see the value in that. There are a lot of collectors out there who are really interested in these kinds of things. And investing jewelry is one of the wisest things for me, if you ask me. It's one of the
Yeah.
awesome and wisest, most relevant item you can invest in.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, after years and years, it becomes more expensive. Or, it's just a plan B. It's just a plan B or C that just in case anything goes wrong, you have that with you right there. And it doesn't go anywhere. That's
Yeah.
one advantage of keeping and investing materials like that. So for those who are watching right now, don't underestimate the power of materials. I myself am not materialistic, if you ask me, because sometimes we value these things that we cannot see, the
Mm.
love, time, care, all of those things. But when we talk about practicality, we have certain things that really am useful and very helpful when it comes in the future. So that is a highlight for me, Miss MJ, when you've mentioned that you invest in jewelries, because that's an eye catcher actually, because not everybody knows about that.
Mm.
Yeah, totally agree to that. And a lot of people that I know also invest in jewelries and also on watches. How expensive they are, even antique items. You can put them
Mm.
up online, and then you get millions or thousands of dollars about that coming from different people and uh, around the world. So yeah, awesome purchase that you bought so far. I doubt your regret on purchasing them, because they are very helpful along with the future as well. And yeah, so we're down to our last question before we proceed to the commercial break. But please do stay tuned, Miss MJ. We've got a surprise right after that. We've got a surprise segment for you. So yeah, lastly, we want to ask you, of course, being a virtual assistant, what do you think is a piece of advice that you would want to give out or to spread out towards aspiring virtual assistants that are watching right now?
Yes, for aspiring virtual assistants, so don't quit. I've started with just imaginations, just desire, and yeah, now I got my client with a stable client, a stable job. So do not stop dreaming to get a client. So if you have time, especially for those singles, so you can like enroll to enroll to any online websites.
Mhm.
If you know that like, because sometimes in the future it will be useful, especially if you go enroll in a different niche. So you better decide to what niche you belong to, so that you will know what part or what denomination of VA you are going to apply, because of being a virtual assistant is is broad. So you're not just going to apply as a virtual assistant, and then what if your client ask you what can you offer. So it's better that you have more ideas, more more background, so that you could offer a lot, and then then the money will follow, the compensation will follow, and
Mhm.
then your dream house, your dream car, your dream school for your children will follow. So don't stop.
Correct. Yeah, correct. You've heard that, guys, from Miss MJ herself. Don't be afraid to learn something new every day, because if you do and accept the fact that you want to learn, you get to know your strengths and weaknesses and try to figure out all of that stuff before going into that certain job position you want to be in, most specifically being a virtual assistant. So thank you so much, MJ, for that very inspirational message and advice to those aspiring virtual assistants that are watching right now. So, yeah, we'll be right back after this very short break. So, please just stay tuned.
Ever dreamed of swapping your hectic office for a comfy home workspace? At Sphere Rocket VA, we make that dream a reality. Say goodbye to rush hours and hello to remote work. Enjoy more time with family, more time for yourself, all while building your career. Interested? Apply now at www.spherejobs.ph.
All right, awesome people. We are back with our podcast episode for today. And of course, we've got our lovely guest with this podcast. We've got Miss MJ back with us here at again, our general virtual assistant for today. Hi, Miss MJ.
Hi.
All right. So, are you ready for this last segment? So, basically, this is what we call the lightning round. So, this is just fast talk. This is just we're just gonna pitch on some different questions, and then you just let us know the first thing that pops into your mind. So, are you ready?
Wow, I got surprised.
That's
I'm ready.
Yeah, that's great that you're surprised. That's the goal, and yes, goal achieved indeed. All right. Okay, let's do it. Okay. First question. Day off or bonus pay?
No. Yes or no?
Oh, no, it's actually you have to choose one. Okay.
Oh,
You have to
I'm
choose one. So I'm giving out two options for the question number
okay.
one. That's
All right.
day off or bonus pay.
Bonus pay.
Okay, perfect. Favorite social media platform?
Facebook.
Voice or non-voice?
Non-voice.
What is your go-to midnight snack?
And a milk tea.
I love it. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Dream country to visit?
Japan.
Japan. Most expensive purchase?
Car.
Wow. And lastly, one word to describe Sphere Rocket.
Amazing.
Amazing. Of course, there you have it, you guys. Miss MJ as our guest for this podcast episode. And of course, Miss MJ, do you want to give out a shout out or you want to promote something? Please do. You have the opportunity to do it. So now's your chance.
I don't have anyone to shout out. Maybe my client. Hi, Amber Chamanka. I'm here. I think that's. Thank
Awesome.
you.
All right. There you have it. That was MJ, you guys. And of course, this has been Julia. Stay tuned, you guys, for more podcast episodes and wishing everybody to enjoy the rest of their day. Bye. Take care. Bye, Miss MJ. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Do you want to apply as a Sphere Rocket virtual assistant? Well, look no further because this video is for you. I will be telling you which requirements you will need to submit in order to apply to our new website, plus a few tips and tricks to help you with your initial interview. We have achieved a better way for you to send in your application, so let's begin. Step 1. Visit our website at www.spherejobs.ph. Step 2. Fill in the application by inputting your full name, email, number, and other questions that you will need to answer in order to move on to the next step. Step number 3, send screenshots of your updated CV, Tony Robbins PDF result, internet speed screenshot with a minimum of 10 Mbps, a scanned copy of your government ID, and your portfolio with sample works. Step 4, click the submit button and wait patiently for our email. Now here are some tips on how to stand out during your initial interview. Tip number 1, dress up as if you were going to an in-person interview. Wearing something formal will give the interviewer a sign that you are serious about applying to this job role. Tip number 2, find a quiet space where your interview will be held. There's nothing worse than getting distracted by the noise around you and not being able to understand what the interviewer is saying. Number 3, be yourself and show up as confidently as you can. Know what you bring to the table and honor your worth. Interested in becoming a part of our team? Submit your application now at www.spherejobs.ph. Good luck!